Today we uncover the 6 supermarkets you should never buy your chicken from. Because like us, you probably noticed the nosedive in quality lately. The bland taste, the watery trays, the strange textures that don't feel like real meat anymore. Some packs drain half a pint of liquid before they even hit the oven. The chicken looks grey, smells off even before the use-by date, and once it's cooked, the texture's somewhere between rubber and sponge. This isn't normal. And it hasn't always been this way. You're not imagining things. The quality has tanked. What we're seeing now is a clear decline in the quality of chicken being sold across the UK. And the more we looked into it, the more disturbing it got. Because this isn't just bad taste. It's bad sourcing, bad welfare, and strange practices being quietly swept under the rug. In this video, we break down the 6 worst supermarkets for chicken based on current standards, recent recalls, welfare shortcuts, and the hidden meaning behind that fresh label. We're going to tell you exactly why each of these supermarkets made the list and the solutions too. If you care about food that actually nourishes your body, if you're buying for your family or for your own long-term health, then these are the places you need to approach with serious caution. And don't worry, we won't leave you hanging. At the end, we'll tell you where it is still safe to shop for chicken. Because this isn't about creating panic, it's about clarity. And once you understand what's really happening in the poultry industry this year, you'll never look at supermarket chicken the same way again.
Number 1. Asda. Asda is where many go when they want to stretch their food budget. Big family packs, low prices, and trays of chicken for just a few pounds. But what you save at checkout, you often pay for somewhere else, in quality, in taste, and in how your body feels after eating it. The first warning sign with Asda is its long history with bacterial contamination. Years ago, it topped charts for Campylobacter, a nasty gut bug linked to undercooked or poorly handled chicken. That was supposed to be a wake-up call. But now, Asda's chicken still raises red flags, just not the kind that make headlines anymore. Let's talk quality. If you've ever opened a tray of Asda chicken and watched it flood your chopping board with water, you're not alone. That isn't just natural moisture. It's a sign of fast-grown, intensively reared birds that retain excess water because of how they were raised. Tight stocking densities, poor airflow, and rapid weight gain lead to meat that breaks down quicker, loses structure, and tastes bland no matter how much seasoning you throw at it. And it's not just texture. This year, Asda was forced to recall its hot and spicy chicken breast slices due to incorrect use-by dates. That's not a minor labeling issue. That's the kind of error that puts people at serious risk. When even the packaging can't be trusted, you have to wonder what else slips through. Asda's chicken may look like a bargain, but the corners being cut are catching up. If your meals have felt heavier, blander, or left you second-guessing the meat, this is likely one of the reasons why.
Number 2. Tesco. Tesco is the most familiar name in British food shopping, and that's exactly the problem. Because when something becomes part of everyday life, we stop questioning it. And when it comes to chicken, Tesco has become the supermarket people assume is good enough. But lately, that trust has become dangerously misplaced. Let's start with the packaging. Tesco's shelves are lined with phrases like reared with care, farm fresh, and happy hens. But here's the truth. None of those words are legally defined. They're marketing. They don't tell you anything about how the chicken was raised, what breed it was, or how fast it grew. In fact, most Tesco standard chicken comes from industrial breeds, grown at lightning speed under conditions that few shoppers would ever approve of if they saw it firsthand. You'll find the occasional premium line that meets higher welfare standards, like their corn-fed or organic ranges. But that's a fraction of what's sold. The majority, fast-farmed, confined, and processed to meet volume, not quality. And speaking of trust, let's not forget the horse meat scandal. Tesco was front and center in that national embarrassment. Ready meals labeled as beef were found to contain horse. The public was outraged. But what's most disturbing, we only found out after it happened. Not because they told us, but because they got caught. That scandal left a lesson behind too that too many people have already forgotten. We are always the last to know. More recently, investigations found antibiotic-resistant E. coli in around a quarter of standard supermarket chicken, Tesco included. That's the kind of thing you can't see, smell, or taste, but it can absolutely impact your health if it shows up in the wrong place at the wrong time. Tesco may look familiar, it may feel safe, but when it comes to their standard chicken, the kind most people actually buy, there's a lot being sold that you'd probably never accept if you knew the full story.
Number 3. Sainsbury's. There's something particularly disappointing about Sainsbury's because out of all the major supermarkets, this is the one that markets itself as clean, reliable, and a cut above. The gentle colours, the soft lighting, the careful wording, everything about Sainsbury's branding whispers reassurance. But when you look at their chicken, especially the standard everyday stuff most people pick up, that image quickly starts to unravel. Yes, Sainsbury's has some excellent high welfare options. RSPCA assured lines, organic chicken, taste the difference free range, but those make up a small corner of the shelf. The bulk of their chicken, especially the trays marked by Sainsbury's, are still fast-growing breeds raised indoors, bred for speed over quality, and pushed through the supply chain to hit price points, not health goals. And while Sainsbury's makes a big deal about giving their chickens more space, 20% more than the legal minimum, let's be honest, when the legal minimum is already low, 20% more of cramped is still cramped. These are not birds scratching in the sun. These are still indoor industrial conditions dressed up in kinder language. One thing that really stood out was the growing number of complaints about texture. Many shoppers are noticing that Sainsbury's chicken feels different now, spongier, wetter, and oddly uniform. That's often what you get from birds bred to grow quickly, with water retention, additives, and minimal muscle development. You end up with meat that feels like it's been engineered, not raised. Then there's the labelling, minimal, vague, and stripped of clear certification. You won't find helpful welfare logos on most Sainsbury's standard chicken. It's almost like they don't want you asking questions. And yet, people keep buying it because it looks trustworthy. But that's the real issue. When a supermarket trades on a wholesome image while quietly selling the same industrial chicken as everyone else, the betrayal cuts deeper.
Number 4. Lidl. Lidl has carved out its name in the UK as the no-frills, unbeatable value supermarket. And on the surface, there's a lot to admire about that. Simpler stores, lower prices, and fewer gimmicks. But when it comes to chicken, that bare-bones approach comes at a cost. And it's not just the cost to your wallet. You can't sell chicken for the lowest price on the shelf without cutting something somewhere. And with Lidl, the first things to go are animal welfare, meat quality, and transparency. Most of Lidl's fresh chicken, especially the standard ranges, comes from ultra-fast growing breeds, often referred to as franken-chickens in the welfare world. These birds are bred to reach slaughter weight in just over a month. That kind of unnatural speed means their muscles grow faster than their organs can keep up. The result? Chronic stress, painful mobility issues, and meat that breaks down fast both inside the animal and later on your plate. Ever bought chicken that turns to mush when it hits the pan, or one that's weirdly rubbery 1 minute and stringy the next? That's not bad cooking. That's what happens when chickens are raised in crowded, high-stress environments where texture and nutritional quality aren't the priority. Then there's the fat content. Fast-grown chicken often carries higher visceral fat and water weight, which is why Lidl chicken can sometimes feel heavier in the stomach even when the portion's the same. You're not just eating chicken, you're eating the outcome of how it was raised. And here's the catch. None of this is illegal. None of it's even hidden. It's just not talked about. Lidl chicken looks cheap because it is. But what you're putting in your body is anything but a bargain. The low price isn't the warning, it's the advertisement. You just have to know what to look for. Number 5. Morrison's. Morrison's is one of those supermarkets that leans heavily on its British farming image. Rolling fields, sunny barns and homegrown produce. It's a message that hits hard with people who genuinely care about where their food comes from. But behind that feel-good branding, something has changed. Earlier this year, Guardian investigation revealed that Polish chicken was being sold right alongside British chicken in packaging and sections that made it almost impossible to tell the difference. No warning, no bold country of origin label, just quietly slipped in as though it belonged there. Now, let's be clear, imported chicken isn't automatically unsafe. That's not the issue. The real problem is trust. People shop at Morrison's thinking they're backing British farmers. They believe the packaging. They believe the supermarket's story. And then they find out, months later, that some of that meat came from entirely different systems with lower welfare standards, different antibiotic policies, and longer, riskier transport chains. Every extra mile a piece of chicken travels before it reaches the shelf adds opportunity for things to go wrong, whether that's inconsistent refrigeration, excess handling, or loss of freshness. It's not something you'll see on the label, but you'll feel it when that meat cooks up limp, watery, or just plain off. And while Morrison's does stock good quality chicken, free-range, organic, British farmed, that's not the bulk of what people are buying. Most shoppers aren't reading the fine print on every pack. They're trusting the brand. And that trust has quietly been broken. The lesson here is simple. If a supermarket starts blurring the lines about where your food comes from, you have to ask yourself what else they're willing to let slide, because once country of origin becomes a guessing game, quality becomes a gamble. Number 6. M&S. This is the one nobody expects to see on a list like this. M&S, the gold standard, the polished aisles, the premium packaging, the slow-grown promises. For years, people have turned to Marks & Spencer thinking, at least I know this is good quality. And for the most part, that reputation has been earned. Their entire fresh chicken range is made up of slower-growing breeds, RSPCA assured, with better welfare and clearer labeling than most. So why is M&S on this list? Because earlier this year, M&S issued an urgent recall of 2 chicken products, Southern Fried Chicken Burgers and Chicken Kievs, due to salmonella contamination. That's not a may contain situation, that's a do not eat, return to store immediately situation. And this wasn't a cheap off-brand, these were premium pre-redded products, the kinds people trust for convenience and safety, the kind you might throw in the oven without a second thought. Here's the problem, with a coated or pre-seasoned chicken, it's easy to assume it's already cooked or safer than it is. But the truth is, salmonella doesn't care how nice the breadcrumbs look. And when contamination hits in a store known for quality, the sense of safety around supermarket chicken takes a real knock. More concerning is how these products ended up on shelves. M&S has strict supply chain policies, but this slip shows that even the most trusted systems aren't immune to mistakes. And when they happen in a place like M&S, they feel bigger because we've been trained not to question them. This isn't about writing off Marks & Spencer entirely, it's about showing that no supermarket is flawless. Even the polished ones have weak points, and sometimes the supermarkets that look safest are the ones we let our guard down around the most. So, where can you still buy good chicken? After going through all 6 supermarkets to avoid, you might be asking, is there anywhere left you can still trust? Thankfully, yes, but the list is short and is getting shorter each year. Let's go through the options one by one, starting with the place that's quietly maintained its standards while everyone else rushed to cut corners. First up, Waitrose. Waitrose is the one supermarket where we can genuinely say, across the board, they've taken chicken welfare and quality seriously. All of their own brand chicken meets the better chicken commitment, meaning slower growing breeds, lower stocking density, and far better living conditions. No mystery meat, no vague labels. The difference is noticeable the moment you cook it. The texture is firmer, but tender. The water doesn't pour out in the tray, and you don't walk away from the meal feeling heavy, bloated, or wondering if something was off. It's what chicken used to be before it was turned into a race for weight gain and shelf life. Next, Ocado. If you prefer to order online or just want quality delivered to your door without dealing with crowded aisles, Ocado is your safest bet. Their cold chain handling is tight, their labeling is clear, and they stock more organic and free-range chicken options than most high street chains combined.
Even better, their automated picking system means your food isn't being grabbed and mishandled by 20 other people before it reaches your kitchen. For people who want convenience without compromise, Ocado nails it. And then there's one more, Co-op. Now, Co-op doesn't usually come up in conversations about quality chicken, but surprisingly, they've made some big improvements recently. They've reduced stocking densities across all own brand chicken, added environmental enrichment, and increased transparency in their sourcing. They're not perfect, they haven't fully adopted slower breeds, but compared to others on the high street, they're heading in the right direction. Which brings us to the most important answer of all, your local butcher. If you want to buy chicken and never second-guess what you're eating, this is the best choice you can make. Not because it's trendy or nostalgic, but because it's direct. When you buy from a butcher, you support a local supply chain. You get meat that hasn't been pumped, stretched, or packed in plastic weeks before hitting their fridge. And in almost every case, the butcher knows exactly where that chicken came from. The farm, the feed, the breed. You're not buying from a system, you're buying from a person. There's a reason chicken from a proper butcher smells fresher, cooks cleaner, and actually tastes like food again. It's not just meat, it's meat that hasn't been messed with. So here's the truth. If you can afford to buy from a butcher, do it. Every single time. And if not, Waitrose, Ocado, and, if needed, Co-op are your safest fallbacks. Everything else, treat with caution. Because chicken isn't what it used to be, but you still have the choice to find the good stuff. And now you know where to start. Now look, we get it. Not everyone has access to a high-welfare butcher around the corner. Not everyone can stretch the food budget every week. And in a cost of living crisis, no one should feel guilty for doing what they need to do. But if you do happen to have a farmer's market nearby, even if it's just once a week, we can't stress this enough. Go there, shake a farmer's hand, ask them where the chicken came from, buy direct when you can. Because every time you support a small farm or an honest producer, you're not just getting better chicken, you're helping to keep the good guys in business, the ones who raise animals properly, who care about food integrity, and who haven't sold out to mass production shortcuts. That kind of food tastes different, and it feels different in your body too. But the most important takeaway isn't just what to avoid, it's what to move towards. Local food, clean supply chains, real accountability, real quality. Because when we stop blindly trusting the big names and start asking better questions, that's when things change. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like and subscribe. And share it with someone who's been saying, why does chicken taste so strange lately? Because chances are they've noticed it too. Let us know in the comments if you want us to break down eggs, beef, fish, or even supermarket marketing tricks next. We read every message, and together we'll keep protecting our plates. See you in the next one.